Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairymuppet. Welcome back, and I've actually left the window open, so give me 1 second. I thought I was past the days of starting a video and then remembering something 2 seconds after I started the video, but apparently I am not, so yes. Now, this video is not going to be about blue science. It is going to be about a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff, just a bit of an update, but some of the updates are quite interesting and quite good. So let's start off with going out to Aquillo. So the science production is still basically the same, but I have set up this little facility off to the side. So basically you get the ice and the ammonia out, and then you stick that into the ice platform. Now, this guy creates a 5 to 50, so it's a 10 to 1 ratio. This guy uses an 8 to 1 ratio. So you will have extra ammonia left over. So I added some extra tanks just to sort of give me some wiggle room, but it still fills up every couple of hours. I have to go manually over there and empty it out. But the important thing is this ice platform is landfill. So you can see I've already started making the platform bigger. I emptied out this area. I created some squares up here. The idea is I want as many of these building over time, and then we can go back and we can lay down some ice, so we could lay some concrete on top of it. And it's kind of, if you've ever seen the mod Sea Base, you kind of have to build up the island from nothing. And that's kind of what this is, because I did a little bit of exploring, and this is the biggest island I've found so far. You got little islands here and there with crude oil and lithium brine and all that sort of stuff, but yeah. I don't actually know what we can do with trains here. Looks like we can build rail supports on top of these guys, so that would be nice. Having said that, I'm going to leave this running for a very long time and yeah, get as much of this ice platform as possible, because it's theoretically free. It takes up a little bit of power, but my power grid is holding on okay. It's about 4 or 5 or so. Every time a rocket gets launched, the power goes through the roof. I never realized, but yeah, 16 megawatts when it launches and nothing when it doesn't. So yeah, my entire power grid almost collapses on this little island whenever a rocket takes off. Oh, by the way, I've got an actual Aquillo Science space platform. So I built this up and it took a while. I sent it out a couple of times and it actually ran into trouble because it didn't have enough rockets or ammo stored up. So I waited for a long time and then I started sending it out, but it's all good at the moment. I've created some other ones as well. Gleba Supply is pretty much built, but it's still building up some ammo. So I'll probably leave this for another few hours to just build up ammo, build up rockets. Fulgora Supply is still being built, hasn't been built completely. And then Volcana Supply is, I think it's a little bit further ahead than Fulgora Supply, but the rockets are almost built up, but not yet. And then Nowvis Supply is actually fully built up, and that one's in operation. So I got the old Nowvis Supply and I renamed it to Scrap. And it's that reminds me, I've got to dump all of this stuff down onto the planet. No, you do not need basic supplies anymore. You do not need any of this crap anymore. Dump everything down onto the ground. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this ship. It does have quite a lot of stuff in it. I mean, that's like 3,000, I think that's about 3,000 foundation. So it is a good head start towards rebranding this onto a new ship. But having said that, I'm not sure if I really need a new ship too much. I may end up just destroying it. I may end up using it for something light, like calcite. But then again, I really want to... The thing is, the ammo system on this is very janky. And there's no way that... One of the major problems I had with the ammo is that It's way less efficient to send ammo up to the ship than it is to send iron and then use the iron to create the ammo. It's way more efficient to send the iron up. I didn't realize that while I was building these ships, and it's very hard to sort of fix that situation now. Plus, it's very inefficient on fuel, which doesn't matter because the fuel's free, but it's a very janky sort of ship. I just don't like it. It is good enough for these 4 planets. It's good enough for that, but I'd still, just for the sake of it, I'd still like to just get rid of it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I may just delete everything and send it back down to the surface and then completely... You can just delete the ship straight off. I don't think all of the contents get sent down to to be reused, and you can't move stuff from one thing to another. So what I might do is I might delete it and then use the base to rebuild the next one, because it's got so many supplies that can be reused. So it'll give me a nice head start for building an AC ship off this old ST. But anyway, the science ones, the science ones are the only ones I don't think I'll replace. The ones that are just local science, Fulgora, Gleba. I mean, it runs pretty fast. 160. It's not quite as fast as the other one, but it's still fast enough. And the ammo thing is the only thing that really annoys me. But yeah, most of the time it won't actually need to deliver ammo because it will replenish its own ammo supply. Yeah, but now this supply has been replaced. The other 3 supply ships will also be replaced as soon as those ships are fully working and they've backed up a decent enough ammo. This one probably has. I probably could send this one out actually, but I'll do that. I'll do that a bit later. AC Fulgura supply. That's just complaining because it's trying to put down and leaving gaps and stuff like that, so that's fine. Yeah, I've been doing some rocket productivity research. You can see the productivity is up to 70%, which is huge. 40% from the prod modules, an extra 30% from research. Yeah. The next one is 10K, which is closer to about 3K because you got 50% resource drain and you got 40% productivity. So it really goes a long way. I think it's about 3K. Having said that, 3K is still a lot. We got 700 in there and we got about 1,000 sitting on the ship. So yeah, 3K is still going to take us a while. So when I get that science back though, then I will kick off that research because that research is 100% top priority. That rocket productivity. It's almost like getting blue circuits, rocket fuel, and low density structure productivity at the same time. And it's actually multiplicative because it's not additive. It's almost like multiplicative, if you know what I'm saying, because it's like, anyway, you know what I'm saying. So I've done a bunch of improvements to the main base as well because I was getting sick of running out of blue circuits. And I didn't really want to wait for fusion, so I just jumped the gun a little bit and got ahead. So I set up 3 more nuclear reactors. Each one is 480 megawatts. They're all taking off the same fuel supply, and we've already filled up again. I put some speed modules, some prod modules here. I don't think I could make nuclear fuel using anything else. I'm paranoid about checking what I can make with other buildings because I messed up a little bit with green science. Somebody commented and said, hey, you messed up. And I was like, oh crap, I did mess up. So anyway, whole bunch of pipes going down to the ocean. So this gives me a total of 2 gigawatt of power now, which is pretty cool, And I have been putting that into use. So I'll show you what I've done so far. Our green circuit build has been replaced by the EM plants, and we got this nice little build which does 45 green circuits per second. All prod modules all the way, so we're going to be using up a lot less copper and iron to get the same amount of green circuits, which I really like. I thought about updating the smelting processes, but the problem is you need calcite to do them properly. I could have just done electric furnaces and chuck, but that would have been a halfway measure. I really want to get... I'll replace these with a proper foundry setup, but I just got to set up a ship for calcite, and I just haven't got around to it yet. Maybe that's what I'll do with this scrap ship. Maybe I'll... Okay, maybe we can do that. All right, let's do that now, just so I don't forget. Okay, so what we do is we do the cargo bay, and we blacklist it, and then we do that. Now, how full is it? That cargo bay is not that full. Okay. So if I was... Okay, let's have a look. So if we take full Gora supply, for example, and then we go over to scrap. Okay, so there's a bit of crap at the end. And those two things on the top left, we don't want these anymore. And we don't want that. I love how it always leaves a little bit of the template in there. Okay. Now you are solid. Okay. Now we just set that up. I'm going to get rid of all of these. We're going to get rid of... Whoa. All of these. Gleba supplies. We can actually set up the network right now. So we go to Volcanus, all requests satisfied, and circuit condition F equals 0. And I'll put this at the top and then here, and then we'll say item count calcite. Where's my calcite? Where is my calcite? Okay. 500. We'll say calcite equals 0. Pause. Okay. That was on automatic for a second. It's got no engines, so it's probably not going to go anywhere, but yeah. Okay. And then we just add... What do we want here? We want a lot of calcite per trip, because we're going to be using... I don't know how much we're going to be using, but I'd say a full blue belt, like 50 per second. So anyway, how much is this? 500. I'm going to say 8,000. That seems like a pretty decent amount to want. 8,000. So that's 16 rows, and that's 16 rockets. That's quite a lot of rockets, to be honest. Maybe that's a bit too much. I'd kind of like to send it over there, get 1 rocket's worth, or get 4 rockets worth, because we got 4 rockets over there, so we can send 4 up at the same time, and then come back. I'm going to go halfway in the middle, 4,000, because each rocket has 2 things inside it. So this will use up both firings of each rocket to fully fill up that ship. Okay, let me name that AC now vis calcite. Okay, I feel like I should start adding some dashes because it's getting a little bit hard to read. Yeah. The jelly nut. The jelly nut I haven't even converted over. But I really don't care because the jelly nut is only for stack inserters. And I'm just not. Yeah. So I could put the calcite on the supply ship, but the supply ship is only for building supplies. The calcite is for actual Megabase production. So I really want to just have this be its own ship and not be tied to anything else or anything like that. Okay. So we're good there. I'm just going to leave that. That one's going to sit there for probably a few hours real time. First it has to get built, and then it has to slowly start to build up its ammo supplies by grabbing little things from asteroids and stuff like that. So let's finish looking at the base, and then we can look at how I screwed up green science. So we did this little green circuit build. Full prod modules, a little bit of beacons, but not too much. You don't need, like, this is 14, this is 18, together they're 32, which is more than the 22.5 we need. But yeah, full prod modules, which means we're using very little resources, which is great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that calcite thing over, because then I can replace all of this with smelting, and it'll be awesome. We replaced red circuits as well. Basically, it's this does 28 per second, and this guy takes 3.15 per second. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 24. With the 0.15, it gets just under 28. So yeah. So I sent these, so these basically go in and they're just beaconed up the wazoo to get the speed up. And this is, each one of these does 1.5, so that's 3, 6, 12, 24. And then I've got another one up here. So that gives me a total of 48, which is a full blue belt of red circuits. And the prod modules are just doing so much work here. It's amazing. Each of these is double, basically double. Now, the interesting thing about this is it does take up quite a lot of power. Right now it's sitting at 430 megawatts. When I first turned it on and all the machines were running, it was up to like 800 megawatts. So the only reason we're not using double the amount of power it's currently using is because a lot of them have slowed down. So it was ticking up about 1.3 gigawatts before. And I was actually a little bit worried because I was like, I just built a whole bunch of nuclear and already my power's gone. But yeah. So we did a similar thing for blue circuits up here. Basically, we didn't widen the existing area. We just got rid of the extra green belt we had, and then we shoved the green down here. Because of course, with prod modules, you need less inputs. And so there we go. Bunch of prod modules. And look at this thing. The productivity for this machine is 190%. Look at that purple bar go on the blue circuit, sorry. So it's 100% from the machine and the prod modules, and then an extra 90% from our research. So yeah, hopefully blue circuits are never going to be a problem ever again. Low density structures are still a problem, and they're probably going to continue to be a problem because we just set up which one did we just set up? Calcite. We just set this one up. So I think Fulgora. Oh, Fulgora was finished. Gleba Supply was almost finished. I think Gleba Supply just finished, but now we just started on calcite, and so the barrage of rockets we send up, and yeah, okay, we've run out of whatchamacallit, out of the this guy. Can I put some prod modules in here? No, I can't. I cannot put prod modules in here, and I'm pretty sure space platforms can only be made in assemblers. So yeah, there's no way to get productivity on these guys, unfortunately. But having said that, oh god, I love this prod bonus on the rockets. Few more levels of research and it will be 1-to-1, and it'll be awesome. Well, by the way, I went around to every planet and I upgraded all the rocket silos with prod 3 modules. I did that pretty much as soon as I got the prod 3 modules. So they are all done. It is all beautiful. And that's pretty much it. So it's mainly just circuit builds that I've fixed. The low density structures, I can't really do yet. However, there is a very sweet recipe in the furnace to do low density structures, which is very cool. So I will do that. I'll do the steel and I'll do the low density structures, and we'll do the molten, we'll do the copper and the iron. Gears, I don't know if I bother doing those because I've just got little things all over the place. So if I did this, I'd have to put gears on the bus, and it would be more efficient, but I think I'll just keep all of the current builds that I've got because I'd have to mess with every single build and I have to fit them on the bus somehow. It's just going to be too much of a pain in the ass. But steel, iron plate, copper plate, and low density structures. I'm going to replace all of those builds with the foundry builds once I get a proper source of calcite on the planet. And I'm going to have to build, basically I'm going to have to build a new station setup, because I do want belts coming out of this guy and going to wherever. Okay, that's a lot of ammo in there. That's a lot of ammo. Let's get that ammo out of there. Any other crap in here that I don't want? That's filling up that I don't want? Not really. Turrets. It's only 2 slots. Yeah. But as you can see, my current research, plastic bar, almost to level 10. And I definitely want that level 10, so when I do blue science, all of my things make sense. All of my calculations make sense in the game. They all... Oh, speaking of which, speaking of calculations, so I stopped doing everything in Excel for calculations. Somebody mentioned go use a website, and I was like, wait, there are websites that are updated, and then I went to one, and yeah, of course it's updated. So in the past, I've used a website called factoriolab.github.io. I went to that one, and lo and behold, it's got space age stuff in it. And it's perfect. So I compared Factorio lab.github against my own calculations, and they were all identical, absolutely identical, which was awesome. Yeah, so I tested it, and I said, okay, it's all good. Yeah, because I was starting to do the calculations for blue science, and it was just doing my head in. So yeah, not fun. So let's go over and look at green science. So here's the thing, right? The belts. We used to have the belts just being done in the assembler. We had 3 little assemblers and a bunch of speed modules. Somebody told me very helpfully that you can do transport belts in the foundry, and you get that 50% broad bonus, which is nice. So yeah, so I replaced this build. So I need 60 belts per second. This one currently does 60 belts per second. And it only took a single beacon to get it up there because it's 4 speed by default. And then I just chucked some efficiency modules in there because why the hell not? Get the power consumption down. So that was the only change I did. Technically, that reduces the amount I need by a very small factor. So if I go back to my green science and actually go to Excel, transport belts, so this reduces the amount of iron I need from 89 down to 79. 89 down to 79 per second. Oh wait, iron gears. And the iron plates go down from 119 to 109. So it takes about 10 less. So that reduces my total iron ore per second from 57 down to 52.5. Now those are slightly weird sort of things. Slightly weird. So I just said screw it. I'll just leave the smelting arrays the same. Some of them will back up a little bit. I could probably tweak them a little bit to make them put out slightly less and save a little bit of power. But meh. Just meh. You know what? Somebody just commented. I'm actually going to read their comment right now. Okay. You could use the new stack inserter instead of complicated belt stuff. He's time-stamped it, so I have to look at the time in the video and figure out exactly what he's talking about. Which, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna mute it because I don't want to hear myself talking. But 2701. Where is that? Where's that complicated belt stuff I'm doing? I suppose, yeah, okay, so yeah, right. Okay, let's talk about the stackers. Let's talk about the new stack insert instead of the complicated belt stuff. Thank you very much for leaving that comment. It is a good point. I'm not going to change the base, and I'm going to explain why, I think. I'm not going to explain the base. So each of these is keyed up to do 45. 45 per second, which is belt based. So I'm really trying to get everything full on a belt. What is this guy producing? I think this one's producing 60. So this is not quite full on a belt, but there was no way around it. The only way around it would be to change this to red belts. Yeah. So we'll change it to red belts or change it to a green and have a single one. But here's the thing. There was a change, and I mentioned this in a comment ago, but there was a change about 3 or 4 years ago that optimized belts, because before, belt UPS was terrible. I think like 6-7 years ago, belt UPS was absolutely awful. Like, there used to be people who had Megabases with like 16 lines of belts going everywhere. I think I just swallowed something. That's not good. I need a drink real quick. Something in my mouth. That's not good. You ever get like something that just, like some bit of dust that just randomly floats around the air and it just goes in your mouth or something? I know having a drink just forces it further down my throat. Well, it's probably in my stomach right now, but at least it's not in my mouth. So, yeah. So anyway, the UPS, basically, the belts were not very well optimized 6 or 7 years ago, before they made that change. So if a belt was full and it was just flowing, it would still be calculating every single identical little bit on that belt, which was terrible when you had like 16 belts. And because it's a Megabase, all those 16 belts would be flowing 100% of the time, because you'd have a smelting stack that always takes in the right amount, and so on and so forth. So belt optimization, and if you think about it, you had really long belts going everywhere and all that sort of stuff. It was basically impossible. So what they actually did was they wrote some UPS optimization code for belts. And what the optimization code said was that this steel belt, for example, this steel belt would still be crap. It would still have the same old optimization. However, if there's a completely full belt, 100% full, then the UPS would go way down, because it just says, okay, this belt is completely full. I don't need to calculate every single item on that belt. It would just say, okay, at this point the belt is full. There's nothing coming off it or going onto it at this point. So the UPS cost for this section of the belt is basically 0. Yeah, and it makes sense, because nothing's been taken off it, nothing's been put on it. It's full at this point, so there's no more UPS calculations to do until the point at which something gets taken off it or it gets split off or whatever. Which means that keeping a belt 100% saturated suddenly became very important. And having belts like this was still terrible. So yeah, I learnt that the hard way, because I did actually make a 1K Megabase, and I made 4 separate 250 SPM bases, and there were empty belts all over the place. There was just like, it was not optimized for making sure the belts are full, and the UPS was terrible. So my UPS was down in the gutter for a 1K SPM base because I didn't care about belt optimization. Now, I don't know if they've fixed it. I don't know how well they've fixed it. I'm not sure. I really don't know. But I do know that if they haven't fixed it, then keeping the belt 100% full is going to be the way to go. Now, obviously you could do stuff like this, but I think a 100% full belt will be better for UPS. Having said that, I am interested to know whether you can customize the stack inserter. What do we use to make these again? Jelly. I can't just grab some jelly and then come back. It would probably get destroyed. What we can do, actually, is we go into our trusty map view, and then we paste one there, and then we go out. And we can actually mess with it. Okay, so you can override the stack size. You can't override the belt I don't think. You can't override the belt height, because by default, it'll pull things out and it'll put them on 4 high. Because that's what I've got the research for. So, but you may have a situation where you want to, say, put 60 on a belt. 60 items per second. So then the most optimum way might be to have a red belt and then stack it up to 2 high. And then you're perfectly filling the belt and you're getting 60 items per second. But yeah, if you've got a blue belt, then you can't get a perfectly optimized 60 items per second. You just can't. Like this setup is not going to be perfectly optimized because this one needs 30 and 30. Now, I don't actually know how the optimization works when it's full. Like if this is full and it's just slowly getting forced down. I think it might be better than just having little dribs and drabs on the belt, but I don't know, to be honest. I feel like if this belt is completely full, this guy picks up an inserter, this one moves a little bit further forward, there's going to be no UPS calculations in the middle because things are only happening at the start, at the end, at the start of the belt and the end of the belt. Everything in the middle is just full. But if you've got little dribs and drabs, it has to calculate all those dribs and drabs all the way along the belt. I really don't know if they've optimized it. I wouldn't see how they could optimize it for dribs and drabs. So you don't need any UPS calculations in the middle. I just don't see it. But even if this is full and you're only passing 30 full, if you're only passing 30 through, but it's backed up, then stuffing is being inserted at the start, stuffing being taken out at the end. So, yeah, then you're fine. As long as this doesn't start taking up more than 30, as long as this doesn't start taking off more than this one can supply, then you're okay. Then everything gets backed up. So, we will have to try and back this base up a little bit, but it should get backed up naturally at some point. I think it should. And once it gets backed up, then the UPS optimizations will kick in. So that's kind of my, I wouldn't say it's a rant, but yeah, when it comes to stacking, I think it has the potential to be awesome, but I haven't reached the throughput requirements to make it necessary. And if I start, I haven't reached the belt, the throughput requirements. Is that what I said? Did I say UPS requirements or throughput? Anyway, I haven't reached the throughput requirements to make it necessary. And for me, keeping a belt 100% full for that UPS is going to be more important than, and especially, I mean, yeah, I still have, I mean, these belt shenanigans, I've been doing these for years, so these are not really too much of a worry. It's acceptable to deal with these little belt shenanigans and keep that UPS friendly setup. Yeah. And it's fun. Okay. It's part of the challenge, I suppose I should say. It's fun working out these little inserter setups. Yeah. And I think all we need to remember is this guy can do 15 items per second. Yeah. Because this is the thing that I really don't like. One of the things I really don't like about this game is you've got hand size 12, you've got rotation speed 864 degrees per second. That doesn't tell me how many items per second it can do. Okay? Well, it kind of does. Okay, so it needs to do 180. Technically, 180. So it goes up and it goes back and it goes up and it goes back. But that doesn't include the time it takes to actually pick up the items. And the time it takes to pick up the items depends on how many items there are in the belt. So it would actually be very hard for them to say picks up 15 items per second. Now, it would be easy for them to say it picks up 15 items per second on a full belt. That would be doable, but yeah, it is hard. But that's why we do the testing, and we did the testing, and we figured out that if this belt has 30 items per second coming on it, 2 inserters will be enough to get this guy full. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, we tested the hell out of that, so yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. And yeah, I forgot to add the station for the output here, but we will be adding the station. Yeah, so I've got my my Factorio hub, and it's telling me that we need... Oh, that's green science. Let's go over to chemical science pack. It's telling me that for a total input, we need 70 iron per second, 22 copper per second, and 69 coal per second. And we also need 2 of the calcite per second. And no stone, because blue science does not need stone. I haven't looked at purple science yet. The problem is you put the thing into the page, and it does a whole bunch of calculations based on default settings, and then you have to go in and tweak stuff a little bit. And you have to say, no, I actually want to use this building. It doesn't recognize EM plants by default for everything unless you've already selected them. It doesn't recognize the cold plants. The cryogenic plants, by the way, these are going to be awesome. I haven't talked about them too much, but we can make sulfur, and we can also make plastic using these. Now, they don't have any prod bonus by default, but what they do have is 8 module slots. So that is a total productivity of plus 80%. But yeah, our power usage went through the roof, and our speed went down the toilet. So these are going to be very interesting to deal with, because I definitely want them full moduled, but it's going to be very difficult to build around these because they don't have the native prod bonus. They just have a ton of module slots. And of course, you got to fill them with prod modules. You just gotta. But then you have to deal with the fact that their speed is down the toilet and their power is through the roof. And I don't think we can really... I don't think we can actually put any beacons with efficiency modules around these guys. We're just not going to be able to, because it's going to dilute the speed modules, and we need the speed modules. So if I select, for example, sulfur, so we need 30 sulfur per second. So we could do that. We'll probably do that with like 2 machines or something like that. Because it just needs fluid input, so that's not too bad. So 2 machines, the actual document says 1.5 with 4 beacons around each. That's pretty good. And each machine uses 17.4 megawatts, which in the grand scheme of things is okay, is acceptable. And for plastic, you need 3 of those machines doing a similar thing, because you need 90. So that's 30 per machine, which is doable. I mean, we're outputting 30 over here, 30 on each side. So yeah, 3 machines, each one outputting 30. It's definitely doable. Definitely doable. Yeah, as far as that belt throughput and trying to get it perfect, I'm not quite at the stage where I'm going to put down red belts instead of blue belts to fully optimize it. Because once it backs up, it's not going to matter. It doesn't matter if it's blue or red. As long as it's high enough, it's not going to matter, because it's going to be backed up, so you're still going to get the UPS benefit of having the belt be full. As long as you don't start using the stuff on that belt faster than the stuff is putting it on, which, if our calculations are correct, should never happen. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm kind of just... I was about to say waddling, but I'm not waddling, I'm waffling. Okay, we got 1.4K here. How's our Aquillo science? We're up to 2,000, and we got another 191. That really is slow. That really... Okay, so 2,000. I love to get that rocket prod bonus. I love to get that up as fast as humanly possible. So 2,000 plus, what's in here? 1.4 is 3.4 thousand. 3.4 is 6.8, and then we plus 40%. That might be enough, actually. That might be enough to get the next level. What I'm going to actually do is I'm going to set that one up next. And then I'm going to bring Mr. Aquillo Science back early to Nalvis. Yeah. Just because every single time I do that, it's an extra 10% less low density structures that I need to make. And it's a lot less steel than I need to use up. Although I think steel is mainly being used for making the space platforms at the moment. I'm guessing. Oh yeah, we're completely tapped out. Bloody calcite ship, still going slow. How are these guys going? Fulgora. No, not enough ammo. Not close to enough ammo. Gleba, I thought Gleba was the slow one, but Gleba's actually backing up quite nicely. I will wait until the rockets get all the way over there. The ammo is looking good, but I'll wait a little bit more for the rockets. It always seems to be the water, which is the problem. And these asteroids take so long to fully back up. And the copper takes so long to back up. It's a long time. Bioflux is running. Calcite. Jelly Nut is still... I think Jelly Nut is the only ship that's still just slow rolling. But yeah, after my recent conversation about stack inserters, I don't know if I'm going to need this guy anytime soon. I really don't. So yeah, and Volcanus. Okay, Volcanus is actually very solid. So Volcanus supply, we can actually take this one off. You don't really need to be doing your thing anymore. Go there, and you're just going to sit there. You're going to go to Nalvis and you're going to do nothing. And then basic supplies. I'm actually going to turn all of these off just to make sure it doesn't start requesting stuff. So Fulgora Gleba, Solar Belts Raw, Volcanus Supply. It's got exactly the same. I already copied the settings over, but it's nice to see. Okay. Let's automate it. Let's turn it on and let's put it into action. So Volcanus Supply, this one we will rename to Scrap. And we'll send it over here, we'll dump everything onto the ground, and then we can just let it sit there. I don't know what we'll use it for, but we'll just let it sit as scrap. We could even convert it into like more space science or something. And then, yeah, we just got to wait for Fulgora Supply and Gleba Supply to get finished. I probably will end up converting all the science ships over to AC ones as well. Simply because of this thing. I technically could turn it over, but there's always a very small chance that if I turn that off, then it's going to get in trouble. If it starts to do too many trips too fast and hits too many asteroids, the ammo will get drained. Plus, the solar panels and the cargo bays getting knocked out at the back. It doesn't happen on the new ship. Every single inch of it is fully protected. So no random asteroid, big or small, is going to randomly start knocking out some solar panels. So yeah. So definitely, I think I will replace those eventually, but it's just going to be a while for me to do that. But yes, definitely the calcite. Maybe I should actually get one of those other supply ships and start doing calcite with it so I can get the calcite sooner. But on the other hand, I can just wait. I think this is the only ship that's currently being built as just waiting on space platforms. So many space platforms. Yeah, these guys are all solid. Okay, well, we've definitely got a fleet of ships at the moment, and a lot of them are the ACs, which is awesome. So yeah, that is my small little update, which only took 45 minutes, but... Oh, plastic bar productivity, 98%. It's so exciting. That's going to be, yeah, Aquillo Science. Wait, did you dropped off already? Okay, you dropped off already. That was quick. That ship, it looks like a giant brick, but man, is it fast. Over 200 kilometers per second. Yeah. So in terms of blue science, the engines, I'm not really worried about. Pipes and that. Can we actually make pipes using furnaces? We might be able to, I'm not sure. Nah, doesn't look like it. That's all right, we'll just make the iron plates and then convert them over. That's easy. The sulfur, well, we've already talked about it, but we'll basically just be doing coal cracking. And for coal cracking, we don't really use much fancy. We still use the same old oil refineries, and we do a whole bunch of stuff. Now, you can use the biochamber to do cracking. So you can crack the light down to petrol, you can crack the heavy down to light. I'm not going to use that for the Megabase build. And the reason I'm not going to use that for the Megabase build is because then it introduces the problem of nutrients. And yeah, I don't really want to add nutrients in if I can avoid it, because then we have to get a source for nutrients. And it would probably be eggs, to be honest. 20 nutrients from one biter egg. We could just send some biter eggs around. The nutrients spoil in 5 minutes, so we can't really send those anywhere. The eggs last a lot longer though. The eggs, how long do they last? 30 minutes. Yeah. So we'd have an area which would basically farm up eggs, a whole bunch of different eggs, and then it would send them out. But then again, to farm the eggs, we need bioflux. The bioflux we can only make on Gleba and send over here. I really don't think we can make it. Oh God. Okay, we got a problem. We got a problem. Why do we have so many problems in this stupid game? All right, let's go fix that. But yeah, plastic productivity, level 10. This thing is just insane now. Absolutely insane. Look at that. 10. That's basically 4 plastic per second, without any modules or anything. And once we start making that using our cryogenics plant, that's going to be insane. Okay, we do have to fix this though, because that is not good. That is definitely not good. Okay, so that's a relatively easy fix. Okay, so you filter with the spoiled. Oh, I already got it fixed for this one. I just didn't fix it for anything else. I forgot to fix it for anything else. Okay. Okay. Now the problem is, okay, that inserter picked up the thing. Okay, so these guys obviously do not understand. Oh, they're actually not captured anymore. Why are you not captured? Why is this got... The capture bot rockets do not spoil, do they? Please tell me they don't spoil. They don't spoil. These guys definitely do not... Why is there spoilage in here? How did spoilage get on this bloody line? Okay, you know what? Let me fix stuff up here. We need to make this a filter to only use the bioflux, because clearly it does not recognize that it should only be putting that stuff on there, and it's trying to put the spoilage on there, which is not good. Okay. Okay, so that's that crisis sort of averted. Now, what's wrong with you? Let's get rid of the spoilage. Okay. This one's not shooting... It's not putting any rockets in because there's too many eggs in storage. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. No problems. I just want to know why there is spoilage on this belt. There should not be spoilage on that belt. It's very, very bad news. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's just put a filter on for Mr. Mr. Capture Bot Rocket. So this is turned off, which is fine. This has got some eggs. This is fine. We do want to have a little bit of a cache in here. I mean, 846 is nice. Having said that, I think we want to start launching when it gets not just down to 0. So when it gets less than, let's say 200. So it gets less than 200, then we'll start launching rockets. So there's always a little bit in there. Because these guys do take a little while to sort of get their stuff together. But yeah, okay, so that's fixed up that little setup. And once again, we are meaning to do a 20-minute video and ending up doing an hour-long video. That just happens, okay? You just have to get used to it at this point. Yeah. So, what do we need to do next? I mean, I'm still Let's talk about plans. Well, obviously, I'm rushing towards rushing towards blue science and purple science so we can get mining productivity going absolutely ballistic, because I do not like replacing my mining outposts. This one was actually down to 1 before. I had a bit of a problem when I set up these bases, because the trains went across and then they just sit there, which is what they're meant to do. But yeah, I didn't have enough trains for those extra ones to just sit there, so I had to go down and create some more trains. So right now, I think we've got like 8 iron trains now and 8 copper trains. We used to have 4 of each. I also put in a few more coal trains as well. I wonder if I could do something here. To be honest, I could fix this. I could absolutely fix this. What you do is you take the sum of all of these chests and you subtract that from the amount you want in the chests, right? So let's actually go over there and let's talk about it, because it'll be a way to free up some trains. It'll be a way to absolutely free up some trains. It'll actually be awesome, and it'll allow this to work beautifully. So let's go ahead and do it right now. Actually, I'm getting all inspired to actually do it. And the beautiful thing is, you don't actually need all these chests to just be full either. You can just say how much you want in them. Okay, so we need an arithmetic combinator. Actually, we need 2 arithmetic combinators. We need 1 to do there and then 1 to do the train limit. Okay. And then we're going to get... I got no supplies. Spidertrons. Wait, does Spidertrons have... I don't think they have it. I don't think they have it. I didn't give them any decider or anything like that. Okay. You need a decider, you need a thing, you need one of those, and you need a display. Okay. Just those little bits and pieces. Get those and then get a display. Okay. Spidertrons, come over here and help me out. Oh, it's got a little barcode on it. That's very interesting. You don't see it, or you see it a little, it's not a barcode, it's actually a vent of some kind. Why accumulator has a vent, I really don't know, but anyway. So, adding up all these chests. And then we put the result here. And then we need a combinator. Oh, hello. I just looked over and they're like just standing there. It totally freaked me out. Yeah. It's like that horror movie when you turn around and like whatever his face is just, he's just standing there looking at you. And it's just like, oh God, that scared the crap out of me. Why? Oh, I got trash unrequested on. Okay, that's not good. Okay. Let's do that. So, let's set up this. So we want the red wire going in here, and we want the green wire coming out of here. And let's have a look. We got 38k. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. Having said that, we do still want a lot in here. I'm going to say 25k. And we're going to say, all right, 25,000. So, we take the green iron, the green copper, just the green one, and we take the red copper, and we subtract it. And we output copper. Okay. Now, all right. Let me just experiment a little bit. I'm actually going to do each, because I want to make this generic. And here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. And this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be a thing in beauty. All of these things, all of these stations are either copper or iron or coal or stone. And all four of those things stack up to 50, which means we can use identical calculations for all of them. So yeah, so it outputs output signal of 13. So we take this, we send it directly across there. We can't send it back up to the power pole because it'll get confused. So we take this, we take each, and we divide it by 8k, 8,000. Now, we're only going to ever have one signal. So L is now -1. I'd love a display here as well, but I don't want to confuse things too much. Okay, so now we put this up there, and we set the train limit. The train limit is now -1, which rounds to 0. So I'm going to send you off to waiting. Okay, so there's a train limit of 0. Now, here's the fun part, okay? We've set the train limit to 0 because it's got way too much for what it needs. It wants 25, but it's getting 38. Now, let's say there's 0 in here. It's going to take 25k, it's going to subtract 0 from it, and it's going to have a result of 25k. It's going to divide 25k by 8, and it's going to end up with 3. That's going to set the train limit to 3, and that means that 3 trains are going to go over here. 1 to unload, 2 in the waiting area. Okay, this is brilliant. This is a thing of brilliance, absolute brilliance. Can I do it even better? Can I just set this to be I, 25,000? I of 25,000? Okay. That's not quite working. I don't know how that worked out. Okay. So it does seem like this needs to be the same thing. Because if I just put the I in there... Wait, what if I just do I here? Okay. No, that's good. So take the input, 25k. We subtract each thing in the network. And then we just... for each. So if there were multiple signals on the reds thing, like let's say we put this guy, and then let's say we also had a bunch of iron on here. Let's say we had 2,000 iron. Oh, okay, that turned on the train limit. Whoops. Well, that definitely worked. So you can see 2,000. So it says, oh, we need 23k more iron. So if we make this suddenly say, oh, we've got 40,000 iron, suddenly it's -15 and -13. And that's actually gone L-2. So it's kind of a bit janky when you put multiple signals in, But we have proven that it will work for iron as well. Having said that, yeah. Having said that, what were we saying? I'm not sure. You're never going to, because of the way the station name is set, you're never going to have anything other than copper trains going into this station, thankfully. Okay. Go a little bit of belt shenanigans over here. I'm going to be very careful not to copy the station, because then, so you go off to waiting, and then we copy and paste this whole mess over to the other one. No, we don't copy and paste it because that messes with all of the belts as well. We also mess with the belts. Okay, we'll manually get rid of all this stuff. I love that. Well, I mean, you could already do this before in the previous game, but it's still nice. And then we got to do the copper one as well. So yeah. So this is the sort of stuff that the LTN mod would get you before. It would sort of, it basically did this. It would basically say, okay, now you're, well, to be fair, this is not a new feature in Space Age. You could do this before. You could absolutely do this before and do all sorts of wacky stuff to make the train limits work beautifully, and you could have the train stations the same. The really annoying part before in vanilla was the refueling. But you could, what you would usually have is you'd have a separate refueling train going around. And what I would do is I would send it around to all of the unloading stations. So these guys would unload here, and then I'd have a refueling train come around with some nuclear fuel, and it would offload here. And then on the other side, the trains that actually load, they wouldn't need to refuel because they would refuel wherever they're unloading. Or you could refuel at the other side if you wanted to. It really doesn't matter, as long as you make sure you're consistent on where you refuel. But there was nowhere to have a persistent refueling depot unless you included it as part of the schedule. So basically, every time a train finished unloading, it would load, it would unload, it would go to the refuel station, and so on and so forth. So it would do it every time, which I never did. I never took that approach. Maybe I probably should have, because it would have been easier than sending refuel trains around to every station, but I'm going to be honest, I just never thought of it. Look, 13k is still on that guy. He's still going. Some of these rails things, I actually want to shut them down and just delete them. I've done a few so far, but some of them, they just go forever. They just go forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah. But anyway, I think we're going to end the video there. I don't think there's much more to... We were talking about the plan, weren't we? We were talking about the plan, what I'm going to do next. Geez, this is one of the very first iron depots I set up ever. Had a little twin over there and a little copper down there. The copper and the twin are gone. And this guy is still going 153k. So the plan is, obviously blue science and purple science are going to be 100% necessary. I also want to get calcite down. I really want to get calcite, but I'm going to wait for this ship to get fully built and then fully set up, and then I'm going to send off for the calcite. So I can build up my blue and purple science megabases while I'm waiting for this calcite ship to get set up. And if we look at Volcanus, in terms of calcite, all we've got is this little chest, which is not super incredibly big, but we have fully tapped this, which is awesome. So yeah, with this guy will last forever. It's got big mining drills, so yeah, we should have enough calcite for a while. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't believe how long I've been talking, but yeah, so it's going to be blue and purple science set up with all of the relevant things. We're going to get calcite, and we're going to do low density structures and all of the smelting, redo them. I got to set up a station for this guy to send that stuff out properly, and I got to set up a station for the labs to build trains in, and I'll probably do both of those after I've got the purple and the blue and all of those sciences set up, and then we can have a new station purposely for science and labs, and then we can have a new station for this, because we'll need a new station off this once we get the calcite, because I don't want robots moving the calcite around. That's going to be crazy. But anyway, that's it. So I'm going to end you off here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys later.